Welcome back to the Empowered Podcast. Today I have the beautiful Belinda Bailey on with us, also known as Beach. Hi, Beach.
Hello, hello.
How are you?
I'm good. I'm good. It's been a morning, but we all have them, don't we?
Yes, can relate. I'm glad that you were flexible this morning.
Yeah,
Okay, so for our listeners who don't know you, Beach, can you do a little introduction?
I can. I am Belinda Bailey. I work at my private clinic here in or near Mildura, and my practice is called Pinnacle Kinesiology. I currently run a kinesiology school as well, so still under the same name, Pinnacle Kinesiology. But that's me in a nutshell. Mum of three, wife, all the things as well,
All the hats,
all the hats.
as you do. The
Yeah.
reason I wanted you on today, though, Beach, is because I've known you for a long time and I feel like we've both been through just different life journeys and we probably have sort of come back together and have a similar opinion on lots of things in terms of healthcare and education
Yeah.
and that sort of space. So that's why I wanted to get you on today to talk about a little bit about your journey into kinesiology and what you actually do now. But where did your journey start in, I guess, healthcare?
So I've kind of been interested in healthcare all my life, but I guess it really started back in, I don't even know what year it was a long time ago, but my husband cut his foot in the river and he got an infection in it, like a really bad infection. And he ended up in hospital for a couple of weeks on and off. And that was my real first exposure to like someone really close to me in a hospital setting, like a really acute kind of hospital setting. I mean, I'd seen elderly relatives and stuff in hospital, but this was like acute stuff. And I was like, this is pretty cool.
Mm,
Anyway, so thought I might like to be a nurse. And I was 20, must have been 23 at that point. This is kind of the pivotal catalyst moment for this is when I said to Tom when he got out of hospital and after a little while, I'm like, I think I'll study to be a nurse. I said, nah, nah. At that point, like me doing uni full time, we couldn't really afford for me to be off work and, all that kind of stuff.
mm.
And when someone tells me I can't do something, I will do it come hell or high water.
Doesn't sound
So
like
I
you.
did it. I did it. And I worked full time and did a full time uni degree at the same time. And we were
Oh, that's
living in
wild.
this old farmhouse that hadn't been lived in for like 5 or 6 years. I don't even know how he did it. Anyway, I did it, became a nurse, and I loved it. I still do love nursing. However, I guess we'll talk about the restrictions with that and its limitations and where it's going in the future. But yeah, so I become a nurse for 14 years, but I kind of knew there was something more to this. Like there's more here that I just have this insatiable desire that I've got to figure this out.
Yeah.
I've always been around a form of kinesiology because my uncle practiced it. And when I was quite young, I was probably 10 or 11, maybe a little bit older. My dad had Ross River fever
Hmm.
and he was really unwell and he couldn't do anything and he's a diesel mechanic. So he needed to be able to do stuff. He couldn't walk, he couldn't feed himself, he couldn't turn the shower taps on, like he was really unwell. Anyway, my uncle said, come over to Adelaide and we'll fix you. And at that point, we had no choice and we all went over to Adelaide. And I watched him do kinesiology and some different energy medicine, not energy healing, is the difference between those two as well, on him. And he's also a chiropractor in relation to this Ross River fever.
Mm.
Anyway, he picked up that he'd also had a redback spider bite, which he knew that, but he picked it up without being told. And I was like, what's going on here? Anyway, blah, blah, blah. After 10 days of treatment, he was completely fine.
What the hell?
I know he could walk, he could do everything himself. Every now and then he still gets a bit stiff, but never like this. And I think I was at the point then when I was like, that is so cool.
Yeah.
And when I've been around him at certain things, like I've had really excruciating period pain and things like that. And he would do these little adjustments on me, like at a family function. He'd be like, here, just come here and I'll fix this up. And it would go away like wild. And it's all about if we put the power of the energy within the body in the right
Mm.
places,
Hmm.
it can self-correct.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I'd always been around that. So I
Can
think,
I ask,
yes.
was there a point in time where, obviously you experienced that growing up?
Yeah.
Was there a reason why you didn't go into that straight away?
Yeah. So there wasn't really a pathway for that in, where we live. Like we're rural.
Yeah.
If we want to go away and do something like that, I was far too immature to go anywhere after year 12
Yeah.
unsupervised. Like I was not. So I needed to work and I'm glad, like looking back, I'd made those decisions because I would have $1 million HECS debt and no qualifications if I went to uni after high school. Like
Yeah.
was not mentally equipped for that. And that's okay. So that really wasn't, and well, probably wasn't mature enough
Mm,
either to follow that up, but
mm.
there wasn't really that choice.
Yeah.
So when my second daughter, I think she was a baby, but I reckon she was about 4 months old, when my mentor had opened up her school of kinesiology in Melbourne,
Mhm.
but she was the first to offer it mostly online.
Yep.
So I could do all of the theory and all of the webinars and everything
Yep.
for each of the units at home in my own time, and then go to Melbourne once a month to do heaps of practical stuff, like compact down into one day instead
Yep.
of like weekly classes or whatever it was. Even though I had a 2-year-old and a baby and I was working, had a husband who had a business, I was like, yeah, I'll give it a crack.
I
I
love
got
that
nothing
about
else on.
you because I can relate. I feel like sometimes people just put too many limitations and you have to,
Yeah.
it's always a hard season and you have to really get
Yeah.
really clear on what the priorities are and your values, but it's doable if you want to do it.
Yeah, and I think when I looked into it, I'm like, it's not an option. Like, I have to do this.
Yeah.
And I did. I started back then. I started studying, so that was 10 years ago. And yeah, had another baby in the meantime. We had COVID. I had a massive mental, I wouldn't say, well, it was kind of a mental breakdown, I suppose. But looking back now, I would say it's more of a spiritual awakening kind of situation, dark night
Hmm.
of the soul kind of thing.
Tell me more
Yeah.
about that if you're willing.
Oh, that was a ride. So,
Is this what
um,
led you more into wanting to move into kinesiology?
no, so I was
You
already
already,
practicing by then.
okay.
Actually, no, I hadn't started. I hadn't started. So my third baby he was 6 months old at this point.
Okay.
So I hadn't quite started my clinic yet.
So you were obviously nursing and then decided that there was something missing to move into kinesiology.
Yeah.
Whatever.
So I was still studying while I was working as a nurse.
Hmm.
And I am very good at doing the job that's in front of me. I
Hmm.
am a very good nurse and I could do what I needed to do for the patients, anything, all that kind of stuff. But deep down, like there was so many times where I bit my tongue and I'm like, damn, there's something more here that we need to address. And that's not the realm of Western medicine at this point. So the more I was studying and the more I saw, I was like, I've just got to get there. And that's okay. It's like the full kinesiopractic certification is 4,500 hours, and I had 3 kids, so one being a baby. So I only just graduated the full qualification last year, which was just a few little units that I had to get signed off for, and that was fine. No, the year before last. Yeah, so that was there. But then I fell pregnant with my third baby, and when I was on mat leave with him is when COVID hit, and I'd already had plans in place to get my own clinic started anyway. Like I'd had the building here and all that kind of stuff. So the breakdown. It's really interesting. And I guess this really, really concretes in the gaps in Western health. I went to every maternal child health check. How are you going? No, I'm really struggling. Yeah, it's really hard.
Yeah.
You'll be okay. Baby's crying heaps. Oh, they do that. He's pretty healthy. He's putting on weight. He'll be okay every single time. And you would think, and I think back now, like, I don't know how I didn't see it coming, but what happened was there was just this one day I really struggled a lot with little kids. And I remember there was one day I had a basket of washing that I had to hang out, and I just could not do it. I just could not put the sequences in my brain together to get a load of washing hung out. And that's really hard for me because I'm a doer, like I can
Yeah.
get shit done.
Yeah.
But this was really challenging. Anyway, let that go. I didn't let it go. I struggled with it all day, still didn't get this fucking load of washing put out. And then my husband came home and he's amazing. Like he comes in and takes the reins. It's all good. Don't worry. Yeah, it's easier said than done not to worry. But if you like internally, mentally beating myself up about
Oh,
this load of washing, like who can't get a load of washing put out? A
yeah.
mum with 3 kids, that's who can't.
Mhm.
Anyway, all the load. And then in the evening, something happened. I think it was ridiculous. I'm pretty sure it was over a chicken schnitzel.
Yeah. It's
But
always over something so
yeah,
insignificant. That's
and it
when it
wasn't
breaks.
it wasn't a big deal and it wasn't bad, but it was enough where I just felt my soul leave my body. I got my car keys and I got in my car and I can't even remember where I drove or what I did, but all I can remember is watching myself from above, and I was just curled, like I could see my body curled up on the bottom of this pond of water, like just drowning, just curled up at the bottom of this pond. And I don't even know what happened in that time. Like I don't know where I was driving, pretty bad. But that's the reality of it.
Necessary though, probably.
Yeah, well, it's the reality of mental health. I ended up coming home like a couple of hours later,
Mm.
and I got in the shower and I couldn't even look at my husband or talk to him. I couldn't talk. I couldn't say any words. I was so numb to everything.
Mm.
And I just texted him like, I don't know what's happened. I can't talk about it. And he's like, that's fine. Just go and have a shower, go to bed.
Yeah.
It's fine.
Reset.
And I text my friend who is a mental health, she'd been in mental health for years and years, like a mental health nurse, and she was also a midwife as well. And I texted her just to tell her what happened because I did not know. Like,
Yeah.
I did not know what this was. And she texted me back and said, you need to get into the doctor tomorrow, like as soon as possible. This is really bad. Like, it's not an emergency, but you can't not follow this up.
Yeah.
And at that point, I was fully surrendered. Like, I can't think. I'm just going to go with what this person tells me to do.
Yeah.
And she was really good. She actually rang around a few places and she's like, go here because I've got you an appointment, blah, 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 blah. And the doctor, I'd never even met her before working in the healthcare field. I kind of knew a fair few GPs around town. And she was, I don't know, she was like an angel. She was a young mum as well.
Mm.
And she said, that's okay, let's do this. And she put me on some antidepressant medication, which at the time I was like, give.
Yeah,
Yeah,
of course.
I'll do that.
Yeah.
And they were amazing. And it took a couple of months for me to get stabilized. But to just even realize that I had got to that point was kind of reassuring, like I wasn't making it up.
Mm.
Not that anyone ever said that, but
Yeah.
it's kind of what
But
you
in your
think
own mind.
sometimes.
Yeah.
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 Yeah. So I went on for a little while. That was 2019. And then my son, so he got measles when he was 8 months old. So he was pretty crook. He was all right, but pretty crook. That was a journey. And then, 2020 came and we all kind of know what happened there.
Yeah.
I had stabilized really well. I didn't think I needed the medication and I was starting to wean off them with my doctor and things like that. And they were okay with it. They were like, do whatever you need to do.
Yeah.
I'd have regular appointments, whatever. Started to wean off them. And then we went away for 4 days somewhere. I can't remember. And I'd forgotten to take them with me. And I just thought, oh, this is it. I'll just stop. Don't recommend that.
Yeah. No,
Don't do that.
No.
That was cool. It was fine, but I had a lot of support. So I had my kinesiologist colleagues, all that around me. So I had some people on call that supported me through that little detox phase. Yeah. And then COVID hit and we were all in lockdown. So I kind of wished I didn't wane off them most of the time, to be completely honest with you, because I had one in prep, one in kinder and one a baby.
Yeah. So you were homeschooling and looking after a babe. Yeah.
And then but that's okay. We got through all that. But I guess, slipping through the cracks because I was a nurse. So they thought I would know.
Yeah.
I didn't know.
What happens so often in early motherhood? Like so many of us just get cracked open because for me, all of my childhood trauma that had just been pushed down and, I don't even remember so much of my own childhood. Obviously, a bit of a red flag there. But having your own child and having children and having your capacity pushed to the absolute limits, everything that we've never dealt with just all comes to the surface, doesn't it? And it has like our body has to show us in one way or another.
Yeah.
And if we don't listen to it, then it just keeps giving us the same thing until we actually address it.
Yeah.
Do you feel like that's what happened for you?
I do, yeah. But there was also a lot of things that had to come to the surface for me to move into the next phase of my life as well.
Yeah.
So it wasn't long after that I started my clinic, seeing clients one-on-one. And it's like, looking back now, you'd be like, why would you do that? But it was the thing that gave me life.
I was going to say, I don't see that, like, because I can relate, like, especially after having Rome, I wanted to work and everyone was like, just stop your business, just stop. Like, why are you even putting pressure on yourself? And I'm like, no, I love it. And especially being remote, it's my sense of connection. Like, I love doing this. I love learning. I love speaking with people. If I didn't do it, that's when mentally I'm more unwell, in that I'm just like, what am I doing? Like, my kids are my biggest gift and I love being their mum and I love mothering, but I also love, like, there's a huge part of me that loves doing this sort of thing. So, I think giving blanket and general advice to everyone about what they should be doing is just not it.
Yeah, I work late a couple of days a week and I get back when most of the time they've had dinner, they're having showers and stuff. And I've had people say to me, oh, you miss, their tea time. I'm like, tea time is actually the most triggering time of the entire day for me. So for 2 days when I don't have to sit and listen and fight and argue, like listen to all of that. And my
Yeah.
husband, he's been at work all day. So even though he's tired, he's not drained from that.
Yeah.
So he just does it. Like, he's a legend. And they get the best of me sometimes. Like, I would rather them remember me coming home from work later,
Yeah.
but in a good mood and can put them to bed,
Yep.
than me not wanting to put them to bed because I'm done.
100%. And
Like,
on my
there's
same. Like if
yeah.
I have 2 work days where I feel fulfilled and I am tired, but I'm tired in a really content and happy and joyful way. And then I have
Yeah.
a nanny that helps clean around the house and get jobs done. So on those days, like I feel phenomenal. I can go and
Yep.
play with the kids for 3 hours and do bedtime and all that sort of stuff. But if I've had
Yep.
the kids all week and I've had no respite and no breaks, like
Mm,
it's this whole self-sacrificing your own well-being to be the mother. It just I
yeah.
don't think for many of us, it just doesn't do anyone any favors.
No, yeah, emotionally drained. And I work with people's emotions all day, every day, but it's totally different. I just come back a different person, and they deserve that
Yeah,
from me as well.
yeah, 100%. Do you think that that's what you've discovered through all of this, like your whole journey through everything?
Yeah, that's part of it for sure. But I also think it's my purpose is to help people find their purpose, as in clear their stuff and be the best that they can be with what that works for them. And I think that's the difference,
Mm,
or that's what sets kinesiology apart as well, is we work on what the person wants to achieve and what they want to get,
mm.
not what we think is good for them.
Yeah, so tell us a little bit more about kinesiology or why you think that it should be in everyone's practice, because this is how I see things too, from a holistic lens point, in that everything serves a purpose and
Yeah.
everyone has to figure out what works for them or what they need in order to be the most, regulated, healthy self.
So we align the internal energy system. So we work predominantly on the meridian system with traditional Chinese medicine. So it's all based on traditional Chinese medicine with different studies and stuff that have come through with different modalities that have helped with the same sort of thing. We have an emphasis on finding the emotion of why there is an energy distortion in the body
Hmm.
that is causing you to react or respond a certain way and project that, and therefore receive that back. So an example of that, this was fairly recently, had a client coming to me wanting to clear some stress that she was holding around her job. She knew she wanted to move in a different direction. There was all sorts of things coming up in relation to that, about leaving a job and that kind of thing. She's got a very good self-awareness. She's been coming to me for years, and we found out what the emotion was that was kind of keeping her trapped in this and feeling stressed about this situation. I can't even remember what it was. But the reality of how we find stuff, the emotion, is it's always our perceived emotion of a situation.
Yeah.
So this is what she was holding, was her perceived emotion from everything she has learnt from that environment.
Hmm.
So once we cleared all that out of the way and we rebalance the energy systems within the body to align with what they want to achieve, the outcome was so wildly incredible. Like, the next day she went to work and she said to her boss, "I'm just letting you know that these are some things going on." And her boss is like, "That's fine. We've been friends for all these years. You do what you need to do. Your friendship is more important to me than, you being unhappy." Like,
Mm.
completely different response to what she had perceived was going to happen. Had we not cleared that emotion, it probably would have went that way because that was her
Yeah.
projection of that
Yeah.
situation.
Yeah.
So I guess, why should it be in everyone's life? Energy, emotion that is accumulated in the body causes, like, you have like an accumulation of emotional energy within the body. Like, it gets stuck in your body, in your cells, in your muscles, in your fascia, in your nervous system, as you know. And when we get triggered by certain things or it becomes too much, that's when we have outbursts or overwhelm and things like that. Don't get me wrong, life can be overwhelming. I definitely get overwhelmed still. I don't have all of the answers, but I have a lot of tools. Do I use them? Not all the time, because I'm a human. But when we can clear that emotional, energetic buildup within the body, you can respond to things differently. You can perceive things differently. You
Yeah.
can really sit and reflect on how these patterns have become embedded in you and how come you respond or react a certain way.
Yeah.
because of that. Like you formed this pattern because of that.
Yeah.
And when I say we find the emotion and find out how we need to rebalance the energy within the body, it's all on vibrational frequency. Every single thing on the planet has its own unique vibrational frequency. And our body has this amazing intelligence within it that it responds to those kinds of things, just like Wi-Fi, and
Yeah.
phones, things like that.
Yeah.
So if
Just
you
because you
send,
can't see it doesn't mean it's not there.
yeah, that's right. But if you
Yeah.
send me a text message, it goes from where you live to where I live, and it only goes between you and I. So that it's kind of like that. It's got the frequency goes through our phone numbers with that message. So the emotion that we hold has its own vibrational frequency, and we use a muscle test to ask the body what is the emotion in relation to this issue.
Mm-hmm.
And that's how we can get really accurate and find out what's actually the cause of this here, or what is blocking us here. And we use so many different techniques to realign that and clear that emotional energetic pattern in the body. So that frequency out, replace it with a new one.
So fascinating. I freaking love all of this. So I've
Yeah.
had Reiki lately and I've had spinal energetics, and
Yep.
I guess working on similar principles. Like every modality is different with its origins, obviously,
Yeah.
but I just find it so fascinating that so much of this too is based on perception. And it's why, there's so much speak about quantum leaping in business and all in life and that sort of thing. But because if you're not addressing what is stagnant and you're really running everything through that old filter and not even knowing, because you
Yeah.
haven't cleared everything and upgraded everything. But what you were saying before, essentially what it is doing is widening people's window of regulation or the window of tolerance, so that they do have capacity and they're not have a narrow window, so that they can make better choices and they can regulate and they can lead from regulation and balance rather than chronic dysregulation. That because it really does feed that low level of chronic stress that is operating in the background of everyone.
Yeah.
We can get rid of that. It's like a fresh slate to actually be, like you said, find your purpose and be whoever you want to be.
Yeah, and I guess this leads into something that I've been thinking about probably the last week or so. I've been diving a little bit more into the emotion guilt, and where guilt is. It is a very low vibrational frequency, guilt.
Yeah.
But when we look at guilt, it is everywhere. Everyone's got guilt. If your life is good, guilt because your life is bad or not aligned. You've got guilt over sharing stories because it might upset someone, or you've got guilt over the way you responded or reacted to someone, or, there's just so many layers of guilt, and it's such a low vibrational frequency. And just that one, I was like, this one is huge. Like it does come up a little bit in my clinic, but because it's so deep, there's usually a lot we've got to clear before we can actually get to the bottom of that.
Yeah.
That's okay, because this is intergenerational as well.
Oh, 100%. And the shame piece, like, making yourself wrong and making yourself a bad person, like that next level of guilt is like, I am a bad person, not I've done a bad thing. And I think so many mums have this because of society's expectations, number one. But how we've grown up, all that inner child work that I do, like that's what I see is just what's been modeled to you. And that's why I think this work's so powerful, what you're doing, because it allows mothers to have that clean slate of like, let's heal and address all of the things that aren't serving us so that we can start afresh and do things different. Because when people ask me what my biggest driver is, yes, it's for my children, but it's also for my younger self so that I can give her what she didn't get, so that we can rewrite the book and do things differently. Because I just think we are so fortunate to live in a world where we do have endless opportunities. Like we just get in our own way, in our own heads about what we can and can't achieve or who we can and can't be. But really, we can do so many things. Like I had a funeral 2 days ago, and I feel like that disrupts the loop, because you go, hang on a minute, actually, I could die any day. Like, what the fuck am I doing? But this is what happens. People stay in the low vibrational energy of guilt and shame and sadness and, anxiety. And we can't create the lives that we want to create from those vibrations.
Yeah, well, the universe only gives back what you put out anyway.
Exactly.
If you're holding on to this emotion, that's the vibrational frequency putting out. And
Yeah.
that comes down to health as well. So low vibrational frequency emotions that are associated with health conditions or dis-ease within the body, that's what, like, it's never going to go away if you don't address that. And I was talking to a friend who is a healthcare worker. She's a GP actually, and she was working away in a remote community, and she was telling me that while the health conditions out there, as in the services and stuff, are very limited for the conditions that some of these people have, these people look very well compared to their pathology. So,
Yeah.
and like, I can't stop thinking about this. People are connected, they're in their communities, they have family around them, things like that. While there might be some issues within that,
Mm.
they've still got a healthy soul and spirit.
Mm.
So their physical diseases that they have pathology of are not as prevalent. Like, if someone here in this community where we live had the same condition, they would look really poorly and they would be functioning really poorly compared to what these people are physically.
Mm.
So the health of the soul and the spirit is so vitally relevant. That is where Western medicine is really missing. It's not about mental health services and things like that. They've definitely got their place, and I have used them and they've saved my life. But the true health of the soul and the spirit is back to your own values and what feels good for you and what is
Mm.
right. And where kinesiology comes into that is we help people clear their stuff so they can be working in alignment with what feels good for them, which is their values, even if they don't know what their values are.
Love that.
And yeah, but it's so gentle. So this is never a quick fix, and it's a layer at a time. And then there's always periods between kinesiology sessions where we have to let the body recalibrate. Like, these energetic patterns that have been running often are not there for a short term. They've been there for a while. So
Mm.
we have to let the body recalibrate for that.
Mm.
We can't just keep layering healing and healing and healing and healing on top
Mm.
without having a break and going, let's just sit for a minute
Yeah.
and get this going, which is what I love about kinesiology, because we always work with the person where they're at and where their body's at and what it can handle.
Yeah.
And we incorporate everything. So I'll give you an example of that. A lot, what I see quite a lot is when we do some big emotional clearances and things like that, and resets and things, clear out some sabotage patterns and stuff like that, it's not uncommon for a follow-up, like the end of the session, to be about a lymphatic release.
Mm-hmm.
Because once we bring up the shit, the body's actually got to get rid of it.
Get rid of it. Yeah.
Like, we work so on the energetic, spiritual, physical, mental body. We
Yeah.
work on it all together as a whole. It's got to be working together
Yeah.
to recalibrate properly. And as you would know, it takes time for that. Like, the cells have to regenerate these new beliefs and all that kind of stuff. And that goes everywhere.
Yeah. I love it. And I love the concept that it's based on looking at everything, because I think
Yeah.
that's where people go wrong too, is that they're, especially with the healing narrative that I
Yes,
see a lot on
absolutely.
social media as well. And this comes a lot with, regulate your nervous system and that's just going to fix all the things, or like healing is going to fix all the things. And I think we can become fixated on healing because it's going to make us a different person, when in fact,
Yeah.
it really doesn't. It just makes you more you. It doesn't make you a different person. It just
Yeah.
allows you to shed all the shit really that you've been carrying around.
Yeah.
And I
Yeah.
think people can get obsessed with like, but you have to do this modality and you must do this and you must do that. I love that what you're saying about your practice is that it meets people where they're at, because
Mhm.
that is the biggest predictor of whether someone's going to make change or not. Just like in coaching, the biggest factor really is the relationship, not all the different modalities that you use. If you don't have that one thing first, then it's not really going to work. So
Yeah.
yeah, I love that.
Yeah. I have people, like clients, that are absolutely dead against any Western medicine whatsoever. And I have people that are coming to see me in between their chemo treatments. So, and that's completely fine. We work with wherever they're at. If you
Yeah.
need the antidepressants and you're on them, you can still have kinesiology. It's going to be fine.
Yeah.
There's no judgment, or we can't do this because of this or
Mm.
anything like that. We are very much where you're at,
I can see why
whatever
people
your
come in
beliefs
with
are.
that point of view though, because that's what social media does, especially
Yeah.
with like people trying to be hooky with catching people's attention and making things wrong or bad. Like no
Yeah.
wonder people start to filter everything through those lenses of like, oh, but if I'm doing that, I can't do that. And it's like, no, it's the same in education. The pendulum swings one way or the other, and it rarely ever meets in the middle.
Yeah.
And that's really where everything is in the nuance and in the middle and the this and that, not this or that.
Yeah. I think that's a really important thing for all of us to remember where we're at in as humanity as well. And I think we've had discussion before in the past about the education system and where it's at and where it's going, where it came from, which has all come to light in the more recent years, and the whole reason for the education system the way it is.
Mm.
And I think we do need to meet in the middle there too a lot. If you don't want to put your children in mainstream school, that is completely fine. I love the idea of homeschooling and not being in mainstream school. However, for me, at this point in my life and where I am and what my purpose is, my kids do go to a mainstream school, but it is a very good school. I do think the teachers that I have come across do have good emotional intelligence and awareness and things like that. They're still within the system,
Yeah.
but I do think they're kind of meeting in the middle. They're
Mm.
aware, but they're working within their limitations as well.
Yeah, totally. And I think that's what makes really great teachers in that the ones that I've
Yeah.
worked with too, are able to be flexible in their mindset in, okay, well, these are the rigid rules that I have to stick by that are sort of like non-negotiable. But
Yeah.
here's where I can move in that like kids can go to the toilet and eat when they want, and that's the rule in my classroom. Or like,
Yeah.
when things are coming back from the playground, this is a priority in our classroom and we're a connected community and I'm going to learn to look at what's underneath the behavior. Like there's specific teachers that can do really well in their
Yeah.
own classrooms with that. I think that's so important. But like you said, I find this really hard too because I obviously am a former teacher and can homeschool as well.
Mm.
And I also, though, because we're regional, I also want my kids to be around other kids. Like if you think about back when kids were learning all together, like it was a community of all different ages as well. And like around here, there really is no alternate
Yeah.
education except for
Yeah.
mainstream. And so it's so incredibly difficult for
Yeah.
people who are wanting to do different things. I think traveling around to and homeschooling is a great combination, which is
Yeah.
something that we're considering. But yeah, again, it's not like what is the worst or, what is really bad. It's like, well, what it suits our season and our kids and where we're at in life and make those decisions. And I think that
Yeah.
just because you choose one thing doesn't mean you have to keep doing that as well. Like
Yeah.
it,
That's right.
it's not wrong if you change your mind or if you do something different, like
Yeah.
homeschool for a bit and then they go back into mainstream, or you've just got to judge your kids and your circumstance, not what everyone else thinks.
Yeah. And I think it's too also doing a bit of research and stuff yourself. And if there's certain things that are taught in school that you kind of don't think is quite right, then you take the reins with that. Like there's no reason why you can't teach them about money and finance and farming and things like that outside of that, or
Yeah,
keep
you
them home,
actually
or
are the primary parent that should be teaching the majority of things, really.
yeah, yeah. And I do think, like, in some circumstances, teachers have been given the responsibility of discipline and like all that kind of stuff. I don't know enough about the healthcare system and what you learn at uni and when you're learning to be a teacher or anything like that, but I'm pretty sure it's not parenting and, you
No.
know, life skills. Like, I still think there's room for that.
Absolutely. I think that we're on the same wavelength in how we tackle these topics because
Yeah.
when I listen to a lot of people too, I feel like it's very black and white.
Yeah.
Whereas I live in the grey, I live in the meeting everyone differently where they're at. Their
Absolutely.
life circumstances is just so different for everyone.
Yeah.
So how do you juggle too being a modern day mum where, you are working and raising children and trying to get your own needs met? Are you like
Mm.
a type A or type B type person? And how do you go with
I'm a type Z, whatever that is. Sometimes I don't know. I would say I've got ADHD, undiagnosed ADHD. Some days I can do so many things, other days not much. How do I do it? I think when you have so much passion for what you do, your work isn't hard.
Yeah.
It's just managing to fit it in. My work doesn't exhaust me. I get really excited by it. I can do it for hours, as in even the study and things like that. Like it's not tiring for me. It's just finding the time to do it. And that is time slots here and there, not set time. Although I've
Yeah.
got 3 kids at school now and I have blocked out time this year intentionally where that's what I do. So
Mm.
that's been nice and that's a new thing for me this year. How do I do it? I don't know. I think the thing that I have learned over the last few years and really worked hard to accept is there's never going to be when this settles down or when we get to this point or
Never.
when we get to that.
Yeah.
There's only one constant guarantee in life, and that is change.
Yeah.
It's
100%.
always changing. So that's been my thing, like school notes, and they've got swimming next week and there's lunch orders or whatever, all the things. It's never going away.
No.
So just go with it. Do one thing at a time. Have
Yeah.
you read the book? I forget what it's called. It's got a fish on the front, a fish pond, a fish bowl, and the
No, I
fish is
don't know.
jumping out of it. Oh, what is it called? Anyway, I listened to it like a few years ago now.
Mm.
And in there, he was saying about time and how we don't have time and everyone's rushing and all that kind of stuff. But he said in the book, and I don't know why this is the one thing I remember out of the book, but I've implemented it and it works all the time, is always saying, it's okay, I've got plenty of time. Like
Oh,
even today,
100%.
today's a really back-to-back day for me until like 7:30 tonight, and that's okay. I look at it and I'm like, whew, but if
Mm.
I say to myself, it's okay, I've got time, it's so weird, but half an hour pops up here
Yep.
and then half an hour pops up there. And then I've actually got a bit of a break here. And it just happens to work that way. I end up getting to work like half an hour earlier than I thought I would have.
Mhm.
I've got time. There's
Yeah.
time.
Yeah,
And I
and
think
I think
that's,
because it brings you present, like, it brings you to be present and you're not
yeah,
thinking, "I'm running out of time," and then, you're attracting that energy.
that's exactly right.
Yeah.
So that's one of the things that I've implemented in the last few years is that actually saying that I've got plenty of time,
Yeah.
and I end up with time
I love it.
and space. So the juggle is real. Like some days or some weeks are just hectic,
Mm.
but just embrace the change. It's never going to be the same. No week is the same. No days are the same. It's just one thing at a time. Plan as much as you can. One thing I think, which we have talked about in the past, is just food. Just plan the meals, plan the
Yeah.
food. Once that's sorted, that's
Yeah.
one big emotional outburst that everyone's got covered.
It's not the, "What are we having for dinner?" I don't
Yeah,
care. You pick or you cook. Who's cooking?
I'm
Like,
hungry.
yeah.
There's the options.
Yeah.
I've already got
Absolutely.
that covered.
Yeah, I know.
Mm.
You have to be proactive with so much of that. And see, I don't think that, I think again, this goes back to, being on one end of the spectrum, I don't think is helpful because the
Yeah,
people who are extremely organized and do everything, so regimented, I feel like that could create possibly more anxiety in that, no, I have to have this done, the control
yeah,
of like everything has to be like this.
yeah,
And then on the other end is like having no organization and absolutely no planning. Like that is just pure chaos. Like you said, I think some days and some weeks are just more full than others and more
yeah,
crazy than others. And that's just okay. And it's your flexible, resilient mindset and your approach in how you look at it is what completely shifts the energy because really that's what the kids also are responding to is your energy. So
yeah,
even if it's full and you're being chaotic, then they're going to feel that. They don't know what's going on. If you're present and you're able to handle it and things go wrong and whatever, but you're able to handle it, then that's okay.
yeah. And I think too, like even this morning, I did lose my shit a little bit.
Yeah, it happens.
Yeah. Oh man, it's a ride. But it's being able to be empathetic with yourself as well. Like this morning when I was in my car waiting for the kids to get in the car, they were up at 6:15.
Yeah.
Like they have had 2.25 hours to get dressed, have their breakfast, and put their lunchbox in their bag.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, I've made 3 different breakfasts, packed 3 different lunches,
Yeah.
got stuff out of the freezer for tea because I know that I'm working late, done the groceries online because I know we're going to run out of food,
Yeah.
and organized that for my husband to pick up. I've got ready myself and got ready for the full day. And then I'm waiting in the car for them.
Yeah.
I'm like, guys. And I'm not trying to put that extra expectation on them. I'm like, you just got to be a bit more organized.
Yeah, totally. But I think this is just their lesson to learn too. Like they have to learn.
Absolutely.
Yeah, if
And
they're old
these are
enough and they
skills,
are.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're old enough. Yeah, yeah. These are
Yeah.
skills that I hope, well, I know they're going to help them moving forward. My middle daughter, her teacher, he's amazing. He has this thing on his board in the classroom where they have these programs. Oh,
Mhm.
sorry, not programs. They have these lessons where they're not allowed to ask for help. And when the light's on, they're not allowed to ask for help. And he calls it the time of productive struggle. And I'm like, I absolutely love that. Like,
Yeah.
he is
He's
so,
the last resort. Like problem
yeah,
solved
like,
before you get to him.
but he is doing that, like, and he's telling them that I believe in you. I know you can do this. Try and figure it out because you're going to learn. Like when you start to struggle, it's where you're growing and so productive. And I'm like, oh my God, I love that. So now I'm just saying these kinds of
Yeah.
things are productive struggle for my kids.
I love that. You and the teacher on the same page. I
Yeah,
freaking
yeah,
love
he's
that.
awesome.
How
It's very
good.
cool.
Yes,
Yeah.
absolutely. Yeah, I think so. The rise of people talking about anxiety, and because I work a lot with mothers and kids who experience anxious feelings, I think that that's so damaging, that label, for one, like calling yourself an anxious person rather than seeing it as anxious feelings and what's coming up in the body. But this thing where we think we have to get rid of all the stresses and never experience any
Mm.
stress or any discomfort, when often it's the opposite. Like just yesterday, I did the same thing with Ralph. We went for a walk and we were too far away and she was just so tired. And, in that moment, sometimes you're like, how can I just fix this for them? When
Yeah,
really it's like, how can we move through the struggle together and just know that life's going to be hard sometimes and it's going to be tough, but you just have to push through and
yeah,
do the thing, do the
yeah,
hard thing.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Mm.
Do the hard thing and you'll learn.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, yeah. You'll get better and better every time.
That's right.
For
This has been a
sure.
great chat, mate. Thank you so much. I'm
My
sure we
pleasure.
could talk for days on all of these
Yes,
topics, but
we definitely could.
do you do online sessions as well as in person or just in person?
No, I do online as well. I've got pretty limited availability for the next couple of months just while I catch up on some other things. I've got some other things going on in the background. But yeah, I do online. Yeah.
Amazing. So people can find you on Instagram, and do you have a website?
Yeah, I do. That's currently being redone at the moment, so it's not terribly up to date, but it will be. It will be. Yeah, I do have a website, so pinnaclekinesiology.com.au, I think it is.
Yeah, beautiful. And so people who want to learn more about kinesiology and sort of moving into it as a profession, can
Yeah.
they come and contact you for that as well?
Absolutely. So I am a faculty member for the International College of Professional Kinesiology Practice, and there's a whole lot of information about that. We are a standard above like your 6-week online kinesiology course, things like that. We are very in depth. Based on anatomy, physiology, we go right down to all of that. I teach the level 1 in kinesiopractic and the 4 diplomas that follow that to get the full kinesiopractic qualification.
Mm-hmm.
It's really cool, but there is more info on that on the website too.
Beautiful. I'll pop all the links in the show notes and I'm
Thank
sure
you.
you'll have some inquiries because it is so freaking cool. I love
Yeah,
it.
it is very cool.
All right. Thanks, mate. I'll talk to you soon.
No worries. Talk soon.